Months watched June Holloway all day, every day, from hazy dawns fizz to lazy nights pop. For 30 years he worked hard to entertain her, but lately he hadn't been getting much rest. That's the opening of a short story I wrote 8 years ago. It was called As Seen on TV. The whole thing is told from the perspective of a television set as it watches the family that watches it. I conceived it in a writing group, redrafted it based on thoughtful and well-intentioned notes, and then I stopped. It never quite got to the place where I felt it was finished or ready to send out, and draft 2 still sits on my computer patiently waiting. I don't think about it every day, but when I do, there's always a spark of anxiety or a touch of guilt, like I've left something valuable untapped. And it's not just this story. There are other screenplays and stories like it. They aren't scraps of half ideas. I wrote 2, sometimes 3 full drafts. They're alive but not complete, and that's what gnaws at me. Because I don't think I've abandoned them. It's more like I unplugged them and pushed them to the back of the cupboard, waiting for the day I might need that once loved appliance again. But when? What will it take to dust them off and plug them back in? And how do I live with their weight in the meantime? June must have dreamed an impending attack on her food. She snorted so brutally that it woke her. Muntz arose from his stupor. She shuffled slowly towards Muntz. He glowed brighter, hoping for the button push which would allow him to give her the shrieking company she needed, even if the noise now hurt him. Instead, she left her hand on his brow, scuffed some dust off his name badge, patted him twice, and turned him off. That helplessness, that's what it feels like to have an unfinished project. You've given it life, it wants to grow, to go out into the world, but it has no power on its own. And you're not ready, or you don't have the energy to turn it fully on. So it just sits there, dim but present, and waiting. And that can feel like failure, but it can also feel like possibility. Muntz had mixed feelings about love. He learned there's no fixing a broken heart. It's for life. But after years of family shows and cartoons and films, Muntz concluded that a life well lived counted among its achievements a heart with many deep wounds. In fact, the more the better. For living a life hiding from love's rage was a far greater loss than the boundless gain from fighting for, almost drowning in, and finally accepting love, only to have it one day just pack up with a sneer and stride away. When I read that now, I wonder, maybe the story isn't finished because I wasn't ready to finish it. Maybe it was waiting for me to catch up. And maybe that's what these projects are. They're not failures, or they're not dead. They're just waiting for the version of me who might finally be able to carry them forward. Or maybe that's just what I tell myself, so I can live with them. For once, Muntz wished his squat legs could move so he could hunt for Tilly and to spite her pleas, crash her head through his glass belly and mercilessly pound her with the fury of 1 billion magnetized electrons. But they couldn't, so he instead worked his innards harder and beamed from the tip of his tube and blared from the top of his coils so June could still watch her shows over her uncontrollable sobbing. That's how it feels looking back at old drafts. They want to move. They want to matter. And the guilt is real, because they can't take another step without me. So the question isn't just, is this idea worth finishing? The question is, am I ready to finish it? And if I'm not, can I live with that tension, that possibility, that haunting, without it eating me alive? I don't think I have a clean answer, and I don't think I ever will. But maybe that's the truest thing I can say. Unfinished work never stays silent. So what about you? What's waiting in your drawer? And what does it ask of you?